To find the league-winning running backs of the future, we have to look at the league-winning running backs of the past. So I went through and I looked at all running backs from 2017 through 2022 that actually won fantasy football leagues. How we classified a league-winning running back is if that player had a win rate over 16.67%. This is because on average, a running back or any player in fantasy should have an expected win rate of 8.3%, because if you play in a 12-team league, and there's only one winner, that just is the average. So if you drafted one of these running backs, you are twice as likely to win your fantasy football league. And here were the guys. We had Christian McCaffrey in 2019, Alvin Kamara in 2020, Jonathan Taylor 2021, Dalvin Cook in 2020, Le'Veon Bell 2017, Austin Eckler 2021. Then going to round 2, you had Todd Gurley in 2017, 2018 CMC. In round 3, we had 2019 Aaron Jones. Round 5, we had 2022 Josh Jacobs. Round 6, we didn't have any league winners, and we didn't want to be looking any deeper than that, because once you start to get to a round 10 league winner and what that looks like compared to an early to mid round guy, of course, the bar to actually turn into that league winning player is going to be so much lower that we'll identify those later round guys in a separate video than this one. But let's go ahead and let's try to figure out what these running backs had in common. So we went through and we got every single piece of data you could expect from these RBs, both in their league winning season and also the year before, because it's useful to look back and say, what did these guys accomplish when they actually won fantasy football leagues? But I want to find out how we can predict that. So first, let's start it off with what they actually look like during that season with information we knew going into the year, right? Because of course, if we would have known that Alvin Kamara was going to drop 6 touchdowns in week 16 back in 2020, yes, we all would have drafted him, but that's almost impossible to predict, right? But what we do know is we know the running back's age going into that season. So if we go ahead and look at these 10 league winning running backs, 2 of them were 22 years old, 2 of them were 23 years old, 1 of them was 24 years old, 3 of them were 25, and 2 of them were 26. So, I mean, this is kind of what we've known forever now, right? That generally you have the age drop off of these running backs at 27 years old, and you want to be in the striking distance of these guys either on their rookie contract or the year or 2 after, right? You really want them from about 22 to 26. Now, we also need to look at going into the year, what kind of season were they coming off of, right? I mean, were they just no-name players before? Did we see some elite level traits? So I want to be looking at the usage of these running backs in their respective offense, starting off with their target share number, because in my mind, this is almost going to be the most important thing that you can look at. And out of these 10 league-winning running backs, all 10 of them had a target share mark over 7%. 8 out of the 10 had a target share mark over 10%. 6 out of 10 had a target share mark over 15%, and even 3 out of 10 were over 20%. And being over 20% is almost unheard of. And if you see a running back in fantasy that's getting over 20%, you should probably go ahead and draft that player no matter what. But of course, we just can't look at their target share. That just tells us how they're involved as pass catchers. We also want to look at how they're being used on first and second down. What is their carry share in their respective backfields? Now, this data isn't fully fleshed out, right? So what I did to collect this, because to be honest with you, when I'm sitting here doing research, spending 12 hours to get you this video, it's going to be easiest for me to take the carries on a per game basis from that running back and divide it by their team carries on a per game basis. So this is a little flawed in that if you are running alongside a rushing quarterback, if you're Christian McCaffrey with Cam Newton alongside you in Carolina, naturally your carry share is going to be a little bit lower compared to if you're Austin Eckler with Phillip Rivers in Los Angeles, where we know Phillip Rivers is never going to take off and run, right? But still extremely useful. I just want to be very clear on how this maybe could be improved for future videos. Here you had 9 out of 10 of these guys getting to a carry share mark of 39%. The one player that did not do this was Christian McCaffrey. And honestly, I don't necessarily know if CMC is a good example. It was Christian McCaffrey's rookie season in 2017, where Cam Newton was seeing a ton of carries out of this backfield as well. So, I mean, not necessarily a great example to use. Pretty much every running back here, to be honest, had a carry share mark of 39 to 40% or over. 7 out of 10 of them had 50% or over. Those other guys that weren't quite there yet were the elite level pass catchers. I'm sure you know that. I mean, the guys like Austin Eckler were at the very bottom in terms of the beginning of their NFL careers. Of course, we've seen that mark actually trend up as of late, and only 3 out of 10 of them were over 60%, which is a little interesting, right? So we don't need to see you be prime Derrick Henry, prime Ezekiel Elliott. We don't need to see you go out there and just completely dominate and have every single touch in your backfield before you turn into a true league winner. In general, what we are wanting here is we are wanting running backs that are anywhere from 22 to 26 years old. We are wanting running backs that are coming off a season where they averaged at least 39 to 40% of the carries in their own backfield on a per game basis and had over a 10% target share the season before we draft them. So with this in mind, with this being the mold of league winning running backs from 2017 through 2022, who are these guys this next season? Let's go round by round. We're going to be using Underdog ADP. I'm sure y'all are seeing us draft on Underdog literally every single day on this channel. Of course, if you want to get into an Underdog draft with us, you can every single day. They're best ball drafts, so no time commitment at all during the season. That's how I drafted over 700 teams there, won $150,000 last year. And if you want to get in a draft with us, you can find the link in the description or the comment section. When you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Also with promo code FLOCK, you're going to get my 2023 fantasy football rankings. And on top of this, you will get a free trial to flockfantasy.com, where obviously you can find all my premium content plus rankings. But let's go and let's look round by round according to this Underdog ADP. Round 1, you have Christian McCaffrey going. I haven't drafted a lot of CMC. Be honest with you, I think that there are better values elsewhere at running back this season. I've talked about the possible red flag that you have with the Elijah Mitchell usage, plus the age of Christian McCaffrey. CMC going into his age 27 season doesn't really fall in line with what we are looking for with these running backs to turn into true league winning options. And of course, just because a running back here won't check every single one of these boxes doesn't mean you can't draft them. History may be wrong. We may get a 27-year-old, 28-year-old running back actually posting a win rate of 16 to 17%. It could always happen, but I'm just going through and trying to find guys that maybe you can get at a better cost that have that league winning upside. Now, we have Eckler in the same range. Eckler going into his age 28 season. We just haven't seen a running back at this age be a true league winner. And then we have Bijan Robinson, a rookie. We haven't seen a rookie be a true league winner. The only example we have since 2017 is Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was not going in round 1 like Bijan Robinson. Kareem Hunt was going in round 10 that season. So don't necessarily know if any of these round 1 guys actually fit the mold of what you would have had, say, going back to some of the round 1 players previously, right? So like if you're going to be looking at, say, Le'Veon Bell when he's going in round 1 in 2017 and turns into a league winner. Well, Le'Veon Bell going in to 2017 is a running back that was coming off a season where he averaged 85% of his team's carries on a per game basis. He averaged 157 total yards per game, and the man was only 26. Like that in general is what you were wanting from a league winning round 1 running back. Now going over to round 2, this is where I've actually been drafting some running backs on Underdog. I've been grabbing the elite level wide receiver in round 1. I've been taking Stephon Diggs, taking Tyreek Hill, taking Cooper Kupp, taking Jamar Chase, taking Justin Jefferson, and grabbing these guys that are just falling like rocks. I mean, first off, we're going to be looking at Jonathan Taylor and looking at the boxes that Jonathan Taylor checks. Well, pretty much all of them. Jonathan Taylor's coming off a season where, yes, the Indianapolis Colts were horrendous. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Yeah, it was nasty. But Jonathan Taylor's coming off a season where he averaged 67% of his team's carries on a per game basis. Checks that box. Jonathan Taylor's coming off a season where he had over a 10% team target share. Checks that box. Jonathan Taylor is still in his prime. Taylor is now going into year 4 of his NFL career. The man was just drafted in 2020. So Jonathan Taylor checks every single box. If you're looking at where he's currently going in Underdog drafts, everybody is off the man. The man literally is going late round 2. Hell, sign me up. Tyreek Hill round 1, Jonathan Taylor round 2. I'm all about it. Now, our next round 2 guy that's pretty much right there is you have Nick Chubb. Now, Nick Chubb is a running back that's very exciting for a multitude of different reasons. We've covered Nick Chubb in his own in-depth video. Like I said, just because a running back will not check all these quote-unquote league-winning boxes does not mean you cannot go out there and draft him. But I do have Nick Chubb behind Saquon Barkley because Nick Chubb is going into his age 28 season. Nick Chubb didn't hit the target share measure that we were looking at from the year prior, whereas Saquon Barkley is now going behind Nick Chubb in underdog drafts. And very similar to Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley checks every single box that you were looking for from historically a league-winning running back. Saquon Barkley is coming off a season where he had over 60% of his team's carries on a per-game basis. Saquon Barkley is coming off a season where he had a 15% team target share. And now you're getting him late round 2. I can tell you right now, Saquon Barkley most likely will be one of my most drafted running backs on Underdog when it's all said and done if he stays at this price. Now, Tony Pollard is a very interesting case, right? Pollard is pretty much right there. And I will say Pollard was actually one of those late league-winning running backs that maybe we'll dive into in a later video. But going into this season, technically he doesn't get to 40% of his team's carries on a per-game basis last year. He's at 38.5, so he's pretty much right there. He's at a 10% team target share. He's in the age range that we are wanting. So you can make a pretty strong argument that Tony Pollard fits the mold of being one of those league-winning running backs. Now, going down to round 3, Derrick Henry is too old. Derrick Henry isn't getting the target share that you're looking for to check these boxes. Now, Ramondre Stevenson, on the other hand, is a running back that, to be honest with you, I haven't been drafting a ton of, and I'm kind of regretting it. Because the more and more you look into Ramondre Stevenson here, the more and more you're saying, okay, if you're getting this guy in round 3, it's a running back that is in the age range that we are looking for. It's a running back that had the receiving down usage that we wanted a year ago. It's a running back that now you no longer have Damian Harris in this backfield. I will say, even though he checks every single one of these boxes, I'm going to be on the lookout still for Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, one of those veterans going over to New England. If that were to occur, I think Ramondre is most likely in that split backfield. But as it stands right now, Ramondre is coming off a season and he's in the striking range of someone that could have a true league-winning type year. Josh Jacobs, someone that we drafted the hell out of last year. One of the reasons we won $150,000 on Underdog. My most drafted running back still checks every single one of these boxes. Going in round 3, the man's coming off a season where he had the target share you look for. He had the carry share you look for. He's still young enough. I like Jacobs round 3. Sue me. Breece Hall, massive question mark. I think Breece Hall can get there just simply because the injury. We don't really have the data that we can actually dive into and show on a video. I'm a believer in Breece Hall. He was heavily involved as a pass catcher before the injury. I'm fine with him in round 3, but he just doesn't fit this mold as a league winner as these other guys we're talking about. Now, round 4, I've been drafting a lot of Najee Harris. I've been drafting a lot of Travis Etienne. Both of them missed this mark. Both of them had a target share that was too low this past season. Najee Harris was closer than Travis Etienne. I'm still fine drafting these guys in round 4. Like I said, just because one of these guys misses a box or two doesn't mean you can't draft them. We're just going through and trying to illustrate the guys that maybe we should be targeting instead. Now, Gibbs is a rookie. Like we said, not necessarily a spot that we can say, okay, looking at historical data, this is what, no. We'll dive into Gibbs with a different video, just not this one. Now, round 5, Kenneth Walker missed the target share his rookie season. He just wasn't involved as a pass catcher enough. Now, Jonathan Taylor missed the target share his rookie season as well. And then going into year 2, Jonathan Taylor was actually one of those true league winners. And I would have been fine making the argument that maybe Kenneth Walker could have done the same before they decided to bring in Zach Charbonnet round 2 of the NFL draft. Once they make that decision, it's a little more difficult to get there with Kenneth Walker. Then Joe Mixon, he checks a lot of these boxes, but he is going to be in his age 27 season. But, he's coming off the market share numbers that you want, and he's in a great offense. Now, with Aaron Jones, he's going into his age 29 season. I don't know. Dobbins just has never gotten there from a target share perspective. Round 6, Alexander Madison, we've never seen it before. Miles Sanders, not particularly close with his market share numbers. And Dameon Pierce just wasn't involved as a pass catcher enough. So overall, if you're looking at what has led to true league-winning running backs in years past, the guys that look like they can be that this next season include Jonathan Taylor in the mid to late second round, Saquon Barkley, who's now going in the late second round of underdog drafts, Ramondre Stevenson going in round 3, Josh Jacobs going in round 3, And that's really it. Everybody else is either aging out, not a great enough pass catcher. But of course, let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you think that there is anything else that we should look into when it comes to these running backs. We're just getting started with our research this offseason. But again, thank you so much. If you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And of course, if you want to get a fantasy football draft with me, we're drafting every single day on the live stream on Underdog Fantasy. Best Ball Mania, $15 million prize pool, $25 buy-in. Go use promo code FLOCK and they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Get our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com with promo code FLOCK. That's all I got for you. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. Really do appreciate you. Really hope you have a great day and really hope that we get to see you with the live stream later today.